Welcome in. It's another edition of Where the 99 Leads. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and Where the 99 Leads is a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, where we talk all things regarding the University of Pikeville, the different colleges that are a part of the University of Pikeville. We also talk athletics, academics, clubs and organizations, and a very important part of the University of Pikeville and any college or university is the Alumni Association. That's our focus today. Where the 99 Leads, the name of the program came from the historic 99 steps that lead to the University of Pikeville campus, but also lead from campus back into the community and into the world upon graduation, changing our world, if I can use an old slogan, one graduate at a time. We've got a couple of those with us today on this program. First, Tommy Chamberlain, Alumni Association President, and Tommy, a graduate of the University of Pikeville. Can I tell what year?
It's been a while.
1996. Yes. Welcome in.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about Tommy Chamberlain. Let's talk about your journey. First at the University of Pikeville and what you've done since then and what you're doing now.
All right. Well, when I was here, of course, it was Pikeville College back in the good old days. I finished up here in 96 with a degree in history and a minor in math. And then I went on to the University of Louisville, the Brandeis School of Law, and graduated there in the spring of 2000, getting my law license later that summer. And I have actually moved back home, and I've been serving as one of our assistant county attorneys since 2002 here. So I'll be looking at the completion of year 13 this fall. Long time in public service.
Indeed, it is, and it's hard to believe, but time certainly flies. Tommy Chamberlain, Alumni Association President, also an athlete at the then Pikeville College, the University of Pikeville, and of course, many people talk about athletic scholarships and what they do for athletes to be able to continue playing a game, but they also lead to careers. And it certainly did with Tommy Chamberlain. Jordan Gibson, Director of Alumni Relations at the University as well, seen all over campus. Jordan also an alum of Pikeville College, dating back to 2008. Jordan, welcome in.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And of course, today we talk about the Alumni Association. We talk about alumni relations, and that's what you do every day. Tommy Chamberlain, maybe not so much. You're in the courtroom quite a bit, but also a very active alum of Pikeville. And first of all, let's talk about the Alumni Association and what its role is and what it does.
Well, the way I like to think of the Alumni Association is we're the group that keeps the relationship between the alums and the university. And not just alums and university, but we try to keep the relationship between alum and alum.
Sure.
Most of us know when we think back to our college days and those friendships, those formative friendships that were so important in our life then, and for most of us has stayed so important over the years. And we try to give our alums the opportunities to build and maintain those friendships from their time here and renew some of those that maybe they've let go by the wayside over the years, and also, very importantly, maintain that relationship with the university.
Absolutely. And I think something that's very important with the alumni of a college or university is many of those relationships still exist 20 years from now. Whereas a high school reunion, a 10th reunion, may be the only time you ever see those again. High school alums, typically they grow apart, they go separate ways, but college alumni seem to stick together, and it's something that becomes a part of our life later down the road. We still have those network connections from those alumni. Tommy, there's many ways to become involved with the University of Pikeville Alumni Association. Of course, why is it important to stay connected to those former alumni?
Well, I think it's important a lot for the reason I just mentioned. It's those relationships.
Sure.
Again, the relationship with those friends you had in your time here, and your relationship with the university. And when I think of my personal relationship with the university, I think of those faculty and staff members that I still, then they were maybe my professor. Today I call them friend.
Sure.
A good example for myself is Nancy Cade that I had for who knows how many history courses.
Right.
You know, that's a perfect example in my personal life. Now, as far as other alums, we want them to get that relationship with their friends from their days and the university, and maintain that. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Of course, Nancy Cade, a highly acclaimed educator, a distinguished scholar and educator at the University of Pikeville, and looked to from many different places as an expert in many different fields of history. Do you find yourself still calling on Nancy Cade even today?
I like to talk to Nancy, and one of Nancy's biggest, I guess, impacts on my life is I work today in a line of work where I deal with the law, but one of my great loves in life is history.
Sure.
I love to read. I still read many, many books on history. I collect historical memorabilia, and I love to travel.
Right.
And when I travel, I want to go places that I can see history, from castles to cathedrals to ancient whatever. And when I think who gets credit maybe for part of that in my life and who I am today, Nancy gets a big part of that.
Nancy also heavily involved in politics as well. And while in your office, politics not necessarily a part of what you do on a daily basis, you're in the courthouse. You will deal with politics on a daily basis.
Oh, definitely. In my line of work, when you work in the courthouse, you deal with politics all the time.
Sure.
And different politicians in different areas of that. So that's one area that I didn't mention. I mentioned the history, but of course, political science was my emphasis as well with Nancy, and I had laid a good foundation there.
Yeah, those relationships built on a college or university campus, they certainly do last a lifetime. Jordan, we talk about growth on campus, increased enrollment. It's been crazy at the University of Pikeville over the last several years. More programs, construction, new sports. The list truly does go on and on. Has the Alumni Association seen that growth as well?
Yes, absolutely. When I first started working with the Alumni Association about 3 years ago, we were doing maybe 3 events a year, and plus I work with the football games, the tailgate at the fairgrounds.
Sure.
Now we're doing over 50 events, and those are everything from travel opportunities to the football games, go to a Reds game, theater, Jenny Wiley, things like that, all over the place. So we went from 3 to 50 in just a couple of years, and we have more alumni volunteers now than we've ever had. And most of our events are hosted and supported by our alumni. The university helps to promote and fund the event, but they're really the ones who contact their friends and classmates and get out and push for the event. And they want this, and we're helping them do it.
Sure.
And so, we've come a long way.
No doubt about it. And of course, many locals will see alumni events that take place in and around Pikeville, but alumni events take place all over the country.
Yep.
Of course, when the University of Pikeville Bears play against Kentucky, there's an alumni reception then, and they've taken on Louisville in years past. At those receptions, when we go to Central Kentucky, I see so many alumni, and that's the only time I see them is when the UPike Alumni Association holds a reception in Central Kentucky. Many of those alums don't get back to Pikeville very often as well. Those are just a couple of examples, but those other events that take place outside of Pikeville, give us some examples of places those do take place.
We've got a great one coming up later this month on January 31st in Daytona Beach. We've got a lot of what they call snowbirds.
Sure.
People who go down to Florida for the winter, go down where it's nice and warm, and some of our alumni who live there full time. And so we have Doug and Judith Hinkle, 2 of our great supporters and great alumni, who host an event down there each year, each January.
Right.
So people come from all over Florida, and some people come from Kentucky, and they go down.
Sure.
And that's a great event every year.
I was just going to ask, how do you sign up for that Daytona Beach trip in the middle of winter, leaving Kentucky, heading south for the winter? I want on that list.
We'll see you there.
All right. Of course, we talk about growth in the number of events. The University of Pikeville, of course, with increased enrollment, now we're starting to see increased graduates and degrees that are conferred as well. Let's talk about that. How has that increased enrollment, the number of students, how has that impacted the Alumni Association in numbers?
Well, before, most of our graduating classes were always pretty small, especially in the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
I mean, you may have had 50 people finish the year. And most of our students during that time were non-traditional students, people in their 50s and 60s who were just going back to get an education.
Right.
And so now we're graduating many more people each year, and so that's fueling a lot of young alumni into our alumni association. And maybe I'm one of them. Maybe Tommy's getting there, but we're finding a lot of people who are younger who want to stay connected to the university. Sure. And they want to find a way to stay involved, and the Alumni Association is the way to do that.
Indeed, and there are old-timers like me that I encounter at these receptions, some folks that maybe have a few more years on them, but I think they've been energized by what's going on at Pikeville, the increased enrollment, the exciting things happening around campus, new colleges, new programs, and those things, and it's re-energized some of those alumni. As I talk with them in different settings, they're truly even more proud to be a part of the University of Pikeville. You're tuned to Where the 99 Leads, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, and today we talk with Tommy Chamberlain, Alumni Association President at the University of Pikeville, and Jordan Gibson, Director of Alumni Relations. We talk about those that have come and gone from the University of Pikeville. Many alumni still on campus. Whether they be staff, faculty, administration at the University of Pikeville. Of course, Dr. James Hurley, the first alumni to serve as president of the University of Pikeville, is one we think of. Tommy Chamberlain, got to ask you, because I've heard about this alumni get-together that takes place at Great American Ballpark, of all places. I know you had to have something to do with this. You're a baseball guy, and Great American Ballpark, what better place to have an alumni get-together? We talk about growth on campus, of course, with that. We talk about growth in alumni. That's going to grow alumni when you make a trip to Great American Ballpark. That's just one of the interesting events, exciting events, if you will, that brings alumni together. Great American Ballpark. And of course, that's one that I'm particularly interested in. Let's talk about it first and some other events.
All right, sounds great. This is actually going to be our third year making a trip up to Great American Ballpark to watch the Reds and whatever opponent they're playing. We're actually going on July 3rd this year.
Very good.
It's a Friday night, and we like Friday nights because once the game's over, you get a professional fireworks show.
Indeed.
And, of course, the day before July 4th, be a little extra special. And it's just a wonderful event there that allows people from that area. And what's kind of neat about that event is you're going to attract alums not just from the Cincinnati area. People are going to travel up for that event.
Sure.
And the way we do it is we have a private patio area. It's actually over the Reds bullpen in center field. And what I really like about that, instead of sitting in the standard, baseball stadium seating, which I enjoy,
right,
but for this event, it's a patio area, a picnic area, and people have plenty of room to get up, move around, have a good view of the game, and just socialize and get to talk with other alums. Some they may know, and some they're going to be friends with when they leave.
Sure.
And so it's a really great event, and we're not there yet on a particular aspect, but since it's the July 4th weekend this year, we're hoping to kind of maybe make this a family weekend type thing.
Indeed.
As a lot of people going up on Friday, we know we're going to stay the night. And we're thinking about trying to do an activity on Saturday morning, because a lot of our alums that come up, they're going to bring the kids. It's going to be a family thing. And we're going to see if we can't make it a nice family Friday night, Saturday night.
Absolutely. So many from our area will travel to Cincinnati. Back in the day, Riverfront Stadium. Those that go back a little further, maybe Crosley Field, but now Great American Ballpark. And it's a great place to have a get-together, whether it's an alumni association, a company, an organization that can get together in that type of setting. It truly is a special event. That's Great American Ballpark, July 3rd. Boy, I'd love to be there on July 3rd. It is a special time. What are some other special events that are coming up this year?
Well, we have some travel events, and I know we'll talk about those in a minute. We have other things we do where Pikeville itself, as we all know, is growing. And that's exciting, and we're going to grow right along with them and do things here. Recently at Christmas, we caught one of the Jenny Wiley shows.
Sure.
And I know that we're going to be doing those. The idea there, if you want to go out and enjoy the theater for the day, we'd like you to come enjoy the theater with us.
Absolutely.
And other alums and friends. We have reunions going on and different things. And Jordan, what am I leaving out?
Well, you know, we do go to Jenny Wiley a lot.
Right.
We're also going to ACT Theater. We've got one coming up in February, actually. We're going to see August in Osage County. So, you know, we've got lots of different things throughout the year. Some of our bigger events that we'll talk about later are the reunions. We've got 3 of those scheduled throughout this summer.
Wanted to talk about those. Beginning last year, the Alumni Relations Office broadened the idea of class reunions for the University of Pikeville. You talked about some of those classes were very small during certain decades. So what you did is you broadened that by making it decade reunions. I thought it was a great idea because many that had graduated in the same decade, they still networked together because they were in many classes together and that type of thing. Tell us about the reunions and what alumni can look forward to this year. You mentioned already 3 of those planned.
Well, like you said, you know, our graduating classes were pretty small, and so we would have from time to time a class or 2 who would want to get back together, and it was always just a really small group of people, maybe 5 or 10 people.
Sure.
So we thought, you know, why not do decades all together? And so, you know, people didn't go to school with just, you know, like I was in school from 2004 to 2008, but those weren't the only people that I had class with.
Sure.
Not the only friends that I had. So this gives them a way to all come back together in a group, to see each other once again, and to really have a good time and have a much larger group of people at the reunions. And last year was kind of our trial run. We've tweaked a few things and hopefully made a few improvements for this year. So in June we'll have a reunion for the 1960s and earlier. In July we'll have a group for the 1970s and the 80s. And then on Homecoming Day, which is now October 31st, Halloween night, we'll have a get-together at Landmark for the group of the 90s and 2000s.
Very good. So inviting all alumni
Yep.
back to campus and back for reunions of those different decades. Tommy, you're hosting an event that takes us a little further than Great American Ballpark. It takes us further than Jenny Wiley Theater or Artist Collaborative Theater here in our region. And I am so excited when I heard about this. It involves international travel and UPike's upcoming journey to Ireland. Tell us about that.
That's right. We are working on putting together, actually, it's all ready to roll. We're just getting people registered now for a trip to Ireland with an extension to Scotland. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to have a 10-day trip to Ireland. And when I say 10 days, that's 10 days on the ground. It's 12 if you count your fly days, with an optional extension to Scotland for 4 days. And what's kind of really neat about a trip like this is a lot of times when you travel, and a lot of people who have traveled, if you sign up for a tour, you go with people from all over the U.S.
Sure.
People, and you enjoy it, but you never see these people again.
Right.
Well, the difference with this trip is you're traveling with people that are all going to be from Eastern Kentucky and Pikeville College alums. And people that you already know, people that you will get to know and stay friends with. And it's just a really great way to experience this kind of travel. And we have just a wonderful tour that's put together on the ground. We have our tour company is actually based in Ireland, so they're locals and they know their business very well.
Right.
And in Scotland, the 4 days we have there are just packed full. I call it the castles, cathedrals, and highlands part of the trip. And anybody that's interested in that kind of travel, this is the way to do it. If you've ever been interested in going to that part of the world, why wouldn't you go with friends and neighbors from Eastern Kentucky
Sure.
and from the University of Pikeville? And what we've done is the pricing is very good because, you know, we want as many people as can to go.
Right.
And all they have to do if they're interested in that is contact our Alumni Affairs office. Jordan can give them the information. And we actually have a special email set up for that, which is eastkytours@gmail.com.
Very good.
And we can get all the information and get them signed up.
Very good. And that takes place, I believe, in July.
That's right.
This year.
The fly day to leave would be July 17th. If a person stayed and did the Scotland extension, the return day would be August 1st.
Very good. It's a long trip. It's a great trip. Got to ask, if you go to Scotland, guys got to put on a kilt. You have plans?
Well, I have to be honest, I own a kilt.
Ah.
So that would make in the trip with me. I was in a good friend's wedding who was Scottish, who required we wear kilts. So I am well prepared.
You're ready.
So
You're
I'm
ready.
ready to roll.
Get that baby packed. Of course, the journey to Ireland, a group setting, but it's open to others outside UPike alums as well.
Exactly. Anyone that's interested. We market it obviously to people from here in Eastern Kentucky. You know, we have a lot of UPike alums going, and we have a lot of people that we call friends of UPike.
Sure.
But anyone that's interested is welcome to attend that event.
Absolutely. And of course, you mentioned how it can be different traveling not just with an alumni association, but within a group, period, as opposed to traveling on your own. What are some of the benefits of group travel?
Well, one of the big things, and I like to explain this to people that have never done an event like this, is kind of comfort. Let's face the reality. If you're traveling on an international flight and you've never done this before, it can be a little nerve-wracking. And there's something very comforting about, hey, I'm going with 20, 30 other people that I've already got to know, and they're kind of, for lack of a better term, holding my hand and getting me there and getting me back.
Sure.
So that's just really nice, the comfort of it. You get much better pricing doing something like this when you buy up any product as a group as opposed to an individual. And what's really nice in this type of situation is we'll have meetings before. You're not just going to sign up for a trip and get on a plane and go.
Right.
We're going to talk to you about how to pack, how to get ready, what you're going to see, what to expect. We're going to have you prepared like you're a seasoned traveler when you're ready to hit the road.
Very good. It will be like a course curriculum on Ireland and Scotland before you ever take off to the air. Group travel, it does make it a fun trip, and with those from the University of Pikeville, I can imagine how that would be. Jordan, you're hosting another opportunity for international travel, and that's a cruise to the Caribbean. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, last year we took our first cruise with the Alumni Association. We went to the Eastern Caribbean, took about 10 people down there. And this year we're going to the Western Caribbean. So we're going to hit Haiti and Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Cozumel, come back up, I believe, out of Fort Lauderdale on May 1st. So just after graduation, so you've had time to finish school, take a week or two off, then get on the boat. We'll be sailing with Royal Caribbean. We used them last year, and everyone who went had a great time. So we're excited to go back.
Sounds like a great trip, not just for those that are alums from several years back or more recent years, but also what a great graduation trip that might be for alums of the class of 2015. So that takes place in May, the trip to the Caribbean. How do they get in touch with someone if they'd like to make plans to be a part of that? Or if we could, go ahead and get the information out about the journey to Ireland.
Well, you can contact me for either, or you can contact Tommy specifically for Ireland, and you can reach me at alumni@upike.edu, or you can call into the office at 606-218-5276.
Very good. Tommy, if you could, give us that special email address again.
The email address is eastkytours@gmail.com, and they can also contact me at my number at 422-5952.
Very good. We'll get those on the screen, and you can make those contacts and plan that travel to Ireland or to the Caribbean. What a great opportunity to travel with some UPike alums. Jordan, a couple of members of the UPike Board of Trustees hosting an event in conjunction with the Alumni Association on planned giving. When is that event, and why is it important for university alumni and friends to give to the university?
Well, we haven't finalized the date for that, but it will be in February, and it'll be in the Pikeville area. But the planned giving seminars are something that we started last year as a service to our alumni and to the community. And it's a free event where you come in and you can meet as a group with some professional financial planners, legal advisors, and start to make plans about what you're going to do with your money and your wealth once you retire and once you pass on.
Sure.
Now, due to different tax stipulations and fees, some people have more money than they can use once they retire.
Right.
And so to avoid those taxes, they make plans to give it to their church or to their university or to a civic organization. And so those planned gifts and things like that are really a way to where you can give back to your community, take care of yourself, take care of things you care about.
Absolutely. And of course, there are many scholarships that are funded at the University of Pikeville that have come together through planned giving. Jordan, also alumni have a chance to connect with current students. Of course, during a weekend of events focused on athletics and honoring student athletes at the University of Pikeville. Tell us, when is Athletics Weekend and what does this year's schedule include?
Well, Athletics Weekend this year is on the first weekend of May, so May 1st through the 3rd. That's a Friday through Sunday. And that's really grown to be one of our signature events for our student athletes. They all love it. Some of them who are just sophomores and juniors think we've been doing it every year. In fact, this will just be our 4th year we've done it.
Right.
And so we've got a golf outing scheduled on Friday at Raven Rock. Then Saturday we have an alumni volleyball game. And Sunday we'll finish up with the athletics banquet. And last year we had the opportunity to combine our annual Hall of Fame induction with the banquet.
Right.
And that was great. So we have about 500 student athletes and their families, and they're, all together with their teams, and they get to be recognized and kind of acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and accomplishments throughout the year. And we bring in guest speakers, and we have all of our former Hall of Fame inductees, so the best of the best that we've had at the university, and we get to induct this year's class.
Right.
So the students get to see what hard work can pay off, and how it can pay off, and what they can achieve.
Sure.
With their team, and once they graduate, what they can accomplish.
Absolutely, and of course, the University of Pikeville, a well-membered Hall of Fame. There are some individuals as part of the UPike Hall of Fame that I think many lose touch with and don't realize what accomplishments they did have and the successes they had. It brings those two together. And I'm always amazed when I hear the number that the University of Pikeville has more student athletes on campus than the University of Kentucky.
Half of our students are also athletes.
Yeah, it's incredible. Jordan, how can alumni learn more and stay up to date with the latest information dealing with alumni affairs?
We have two really great ways to stay connected to the university. Facebook is one of their best ways. We keep it up to date all the time, so you can find us at UPike Alumni on Facebook, and you can also sign up for our e-newsletter. We send out a monthly newsletter that has all of our latest news, what's happening with our alumni. If you do something great and you're in the paper, we'll let everybody else know all of our upcoming events, and you can reach us there at upike.edu/alumni, and you can sign up for that mail service.
Very good. You could get information about the cruise to the Caribbean or a journey to Ireland as well by talking with Jordan Gibson, 2008 graduate of the University of Pikeville, our guest today, and also Director of Alumni Relations at the University of Pikeville, and Tommy Chamberlain, Alumni Association President, graduate 1996. Tommy, great to have you here, and the journey to Ireland again. Let's get that email address one more time.
All right.
If someone's tuned in.
It's eastkytours@gmail.com. And again, the number you can call for direct information is 422-5952.
Look forward to that trip. What a great opportunity for alum of the University of Pikeville, or just friends of UPike as well. Tommy, thanks for being with us. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
And Jordan Gibson, Director of Alumni Relations. Great to have you on the show as well.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking UPike alumni today, whether you're an alum or a friend of the university. I'm Andrew Joyce. Thanks for tuning in. Where the 99 Leads, brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia.